everyone. So welcome to today's session on from Buzzwords to best practices. So as we give you an insider's walkthrough on how you can design your cybersecurity journey. First things first, do note that we will be recording today's sessions for those of them who are unable to attend, and we will also be activating the chat box function for any Q&As that you might have. So do state your questions within and we will answer to them as best as we can. And we look forward to that segment towards the end of the webinar. We welcome interaction, so let's get started ahead. Okay, so our journey begins with a focus on establishing a robust information security management system, which we call ISMS, as most of you know, to secure organizations. Many businesses rely on compliance-driven approaches and international standards such as ISO 2001. However, today we're going beyond that. We'll explore a holistic and modern security strategy that combines zero trust using the 8 pillars, along with Privasec's areas of expertise, which we will share more upcoming. Let's start off with a quick introduction. I'm Ariel, BD evangelist and BD with Privasec and moderator for the day. I'm thrilled to be your guide throughout this informative session. Alongside, we have invited Crowdstrike and Zscaler for this conversation, as we value their expertise in providing organizations with a comprehensive framework to safeguard sensitive data and infrastructure. We are excited to have them share their observations and insights for all of us. With that said, let us get better acquainted with our speakers. Subsequently in this session, we are looking forward to getting to know you guys better, Heng, Sean, and Chris. So how about Heng? Let's start off with you. Can you review what's our exhaustive approach to establishing a holistic security strategy? Heading over to you.
Thanks, Ariel. Okay, so to open up the conversation today, I would like to talk a bit about buzzwords that we have today, right? So something that we keep hearing popping up many conversations is the term zero trust. This is not a new concept. It's been around for 10, 15 years at this point. Concept is sound, however, as always, it's the exact implementation that matters. Now at Privasec, our experience in the industry has shown us where the most pressing needs are, especially in terms of capability building and where we can assist others with. So these are the areas we have built our 5 practice pillars around. These practice pillars, of course, are very broad. So today's focus is around zero trust, is around the technology solutions to help you drill down into the threats and trends today. So in terms of companies with a modern technology setup, what is top of mind for them? So to identify these areas, we've actually distilled this into our areas of expertise listed below here, which is the core of the research and engineering work our technologies and platform engineering team is centered around. I'll talk more about this later, specifically around the 2 areas around endpoint security and cloud security, which we are going to dive deeper into today. Next slide, please, Ariel. Yep. So to frame this, let's look at how we should address the problem, how we should frame it in our minds. So building on what I've said, what most organizations with a mature cyber governance and capability would do is to evaluate the risks they face, right? Referencing standards, which will give them an idea on what the industry as a whole recognizes as areas of concern today. So if you look at the trends in terms of updates of standards with ISO, even with MESDRM, and the various other references we have out there, the common trends are around these few areas. There's a strengthened focus on third-party risk management, which we've seen in the news. There's been an impact on consumers and other businesses. Enhanced cybersecurity governance has come into play. This comes in usually as organizations get a bit more mature as a whole. Even your average SME today have started looking at cybersecurity governance as an ongoing issue, simply because you're facing threats, you're facing more attacks, and there's no simple or easy way to manage this without a plan. Improve incident response and recovery. This is framed very well with one of the terms used in one of the parliamentary speeches. Organizations today need to take the position of assume breach. Need to take the assume breach approach. I mean, at some point with the threats we are facing, you are going to get hit. So it's important to figure out how we can respond effectively and recover effectively. And of course, lastly, an overarching idea that we all need to pay attention to emerging technology and threats. Yep. So one example is over here with the new update with ISO 2001. It was updated after 9 years. You will see that In large part, there was some rearrangement of the clauses and all that just to change focus of some of the items in there. There were also some new security controls moved around and new domains and controls introduced. Next slide. Yes, so specifically, I'd like to point you to one of the new controls for cloud services processes around acquiring, using, managing, and exiting cloud services. So this we see it as a preventive control, or rather the organization sees it as preventive control. So you're trying to manage risk policies, procedures, governing information security in commercial cloud services. And of course, at the back, you're going to need the processes as well as the specific tools to help manage this. So next page, please. Yes, and so now we'll talk a bit about zero trust approach. We showed you the 8 pillars just now briefly. We will dive deeper into that now. So zero trust, while it is used a lot as marketing terminology, is also a vital concept that needs to be considered across your people, processes, and technology. So if you look at what the common concerns most organizations will have today, is simply because of the environment we operate in. Call it what you will. You can call it. Some people call it a modern workplace, the most common term. Others call it a hybrid or cloud-based infrastructure. If you're coming from a technology point of view, you call it a hybrid or cloud-based infrastructure because that's how it shifted. Now, what can't be disputed is the attack surface has increased. There's greater integration needed between the cloud and other infrastructure, greater reliance on security on individual endpoint and devices, among other things. Now, the the vast the vast infrastructure and the vast attack surface that needs to be managed doesn't help the problem. However, given how systems are designed these days, you can actually programmatically address these issues, and some of these tools that we're going to talk about today will help you. So, on the path to holistic security, today we have two experts from two companies known for solutions addressing the most pressing of these areas. So we have Sean Lim from Crowdstrike, a platform for protecting endpoints, cloud workloads, identities, and data, and with Chris from Zscaler, who will be talking about their product, which helps with zero trust network access on the key capabilities in protecting cloud workloads by controlling access. So on to the stars of the show for today.
Thank you, Heng. So in our second segment, we have Sean to delve into how Crowdstrike supports compliance and zero trust, as mentioned, by providing a multi-layered cybersecurity solution that safeguards businesses against evolving threats. Handing over to you, Sean.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Heng, for his zero trust using 8 pillars combined with Privasec or areas of expertise. Morning, everyone. My name is Sean Lim from Crowdstrike. So today, right, the topic I'm speaking today is how Crowdstrike is able to support on the compliance and zero trust with a layered security approach to cybersecurity. So on my first slides, I believe everybody had heard of adversaries successfully. It is an everyday thing, right? The adversaries, the hackers, the bad guys successfully penetrated into the victim's environment. And from here, right, with these incidents that happens on others, how can we leverage on the existing investments that you have to supercharge and to protect your environment in an end-to-end manner? Lockbit 3.0, also known as Lockbit Black, is a very popular topic in the recent weeks. I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard it, and I'm pretty sure in today's, right, this is where Crowdstrike has been tracking this adversary, this Lockbit or Lockbit Black, since year 2019, and we are protecting all our customers, which we call them Bitwise Spider. That is an adversary name Crowdstrike named them. From these slides, I'm very sure there are a lot of familiar brands that most or if not all the customers here are using. You are using at least one or more brands here using your existing investment. So if you are looking for Crowdstrike to be able to come in to enable the XDR, everybody is talking about XDR. And I'm pretty sure all of you here is looking at XDR as well. Why not leveraging on your existing investment, the list here, and turn on XDR together with Crowdstrike to secure your environment? In my next slide, we are not the new kids on the block. We have been in the market for more than 10 years. And we have been trusted, validated, and the leaders in the respective areas. Trusted by the top Fortune 500. More than 50% of the customers are using Crowdstrike. We have been validated. Our engines itself, right, have been tested by independent analysts, and we came in top. We are the leaders in all the respective quadrants in their chart, Gartner Magic Quadrants, Forrester Wave, and IDC. Compliance and certification is extremely important, and of course, right, this is also one of the topics that we are speaking today. And this is where all the relevant certifications and compliance have been in place, right, before customers adopt into Crowdstrike solutions. Next slide, please. This is our platform deck. In general, in an overview, we have about 23 modules, 23 solutions for the customer to choose from. We are not just a NGAV EDR vendors. Our solutions span across all the way from your on-premise data centers, your laptop, desktop, your roaming users, right? All the way up to your servers in your private public data centers, or even, right, your containers, your EC2 instance that is in the cloud. Our solution itself can divide into agent or agentless, which I mean, right, you need to install an agent onto the endpoint, be it you're talking about containers or even your servers, right, to protect the particular instance. Or even we're talking about agentless that you do not need to require anything to set up in your environment or to install in your environment to get your environment secure. We have total on top, we have total of 6 security pillars for our customer to choose from. Starting from the left-hand side, right, we are talking about endpoint security and XDR. Remember the first slides that I've shown you. Using your existing investment and together with Crowdstrike, we will be able to come in to form this XDR. You do not need to replace your existing investment. Why not just leveraging on your existing solutions that you have, and together with Crowdstrike, you are able to form this XDR. Cloud security. Today, we have a lot of users, customers that use hybrid environment. Probably they started with the on-premise private data centers. And when the cloud comes in, right, in order to save costs and other reasons, they have moved some of their probably non-critical services over to the cloud. And this is what they are running on in a hybrid environment. Solutions, or should I say, instance that are running in the cloud, we will need a form of security. By integrating with the native security tools provided by your public cloud, this is where we are able to provide an end-to-end protection when it comes to cloud security. Threat intelligence. Crowdstrike, we started with threat intelligence. Today we track more than 215 threat actors in the world, and we are talking about Logbit 3.0, right? This is one of the adversary whom we are tracking as well. So threat intelligence, we will be able to provide customers in terms of who are the attackers that is aiming or trying to get into your environment, or even scanning the deep dark web for anything that is relating to your environment. For example, credit card information that has been leaked out, or even user ID and password that has been put on sale in the underground marketplace. Identity protection, that is one of the zero trust modules that we offer to our customers. We are talking about your Azure AD, you're talking about your domain controller, Active Directories. This is where we will be able to come in, right, to do a health check to ensure that the users that's been created in your AD, right, they are not using repeated password, compromised password, or even, right, stale accounts that has been left there without anyone using it. Security and IT ops, we are talking about to be able to know my environment, to be able to know myself better, to be able to know what type of applications I have in my environment, probably to control those licensed, very expensive applications And from there, right, I wanted to know whether this particular application that's installed on this particular endpoint, when's the last time the user has been using it? I would like to control maybe Chrome in a particular version. The rest of the other version, except for this particular version, I would like to deny it in my environment. Lastly, observability. We are talking about a log management solutions by Crowdstrike, where if you are looking at to have a data lake or even to save costs on your existing SIEM solution, this is what we are able to provide. In terms of the human or the services side, we also offer managed threat hunting, MDR, that can help our customers in terms of making sense on all the telemetries that has been collected from all the endpoints. If customers are looking at incident response, red team, blue team, purple team, this is where Crowdstrike, we do have the expertise that's able to come in to help. Next slide, please. So everybody has heard about Crowdstrike and why we are better, right? Why we are better fundamentally. These are some of the key points like I would like to share with everyone here. First, we are talking about no infrastructure setup. It's equal to we are able to come in to save costs because the only investment you need is the subscription. If you do not need to set up anything on-premise, you do not need to set up any database, hardware, or even software because everything is in the cloud. And this is where no infrastructure setup is equal to we are able to come in to help you to save costs. In terms of no reboot, right, installing of our sensors, no reboot is needed. Meaning, right, after you have installed our solutions onto your critical servers, your laptop, your desktop, your CEO's laptop, you do not need a reboot. A reboot today, right, will cause a lot of disruptions. And this is where our solutions, after installing, it will be there to do all the necessary protections. And for the rest of the features that we have, right, for example, in terms of sensor auto updates, it is transparent to the user. We do not do scanning, and with our agent, our sensors that is deployed onto your endpoints, it is not run on signature base. So that also resulted our agent is extremely lightweight. When we talk about lightweight, let me just give you some numbers, right? We are talking about CPU probably 1% or lesser. In terms of the disk, the RAM, and the network usage is extremely low as compared to the existing solutions that you are using. Today, we collect more than 600 different types of events. When we talk about events or telemetries, we do not collect users' information. What is the content in your probably PowerPoint, Excel, or even Word document? We do not collect that. We are collecting things that is the least important to the customer. Like for example, the process that has been spun up, the registry that has been changed, and so on and so forth. And with all these and the earlier slides, the features, the 23 modules that we offer to our customers, all this is through a single management console. From our solutions today, you can turn on just one particular modules with just 5 endpoints or 10 endpoints. Tomorrow, you can just grow, turning on all the modules, or even right, increasing to increase the number of endpoints, maybe from 5 to 500,000 or even higher than that, because everything is in the cloud. It is highly scalable. Next slide, please. So I would like to talk a bit on the cloud side. And in terms of cloud, right, for customers that has hybrid environment, or maybe customers that started their security journey or started their services, right, in the cloud. This is where our cloud solutions comes in to secure their cloud environment. Together, integrating with the security tools, native security tools that has been provided by the cloud provider. On the left-hand side, when your developers are creating images, we can participate in the CI/CD integrations. So meaning when the image has been created by your developers and save it into a registry, we will be able to come in to scan for any malware or even embedded password that is in this particular image. When we are talking about containers, Kubernetes, right, then this is where we are able to install our sensor, our agents onto the host operating systems, or if not, we can inject our sensors into the containers itself, monitoring each and every containers. If there's any abnormal activities, then this is where we will be able to come in to secure. Our platform, be it you're talking about securing your laptop or desktop or your servers in your private data centers, or we are talking about cloud, right? It is just one platform and the same agent that you are using to protect end to end. Next slide, please. This will be my last slide, and I would like to share these particular activities for all our customers that has a that has subscribed to a public cloud, right? Then this is where why not to sign up a cloud security challenge with us. No agent installation is needed. We just need to do a simple, probably a 2 minutes integrations, and from there, right, we will be able, just give us a few days, we will be able to provide a report to you. After providing a report to you, right, then all the customers that has participated in this Crowdstrike Cloud Security Challenge, you will be able to receive a $1,000 AWS credit voucher for participating. It is that simple. No installation is needed, just a simple integrations, and the CrowdStrikers can come in to share with you what did we find in this security challenge. And at the end of the day, you will receive a $1,000 AWS credit voucher. Do speak to us if you wanted to know more about XDR, or wanted to know more about cloud security, or even the cloud security challenge. That's the end of my session. I will pass it back.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean, for sharing. I am so going to reach out to you to find out more about this challenge in a while. Okay, so as we continue our journey, our next segment features Zscaler, a leading provider of cloud security solutions. So can we discover, or should I say like rediscover with Zscaler our business in the cloud? Chris, can you drop some approaches, some advice that we can learn from? Handing over to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks. So thanks for all the presenters just now. You guys have done a little job, and then Zscaler will just come in to complement and to see from the network perspective, from the data intrinsic perspective, how Zscaler can help on the zero trust journey for a lot of our customers. Right, next slide, please. So first of all, let me just introduce who Zscaler is. Right, Zscaler, we are a cloud security company, and we are building one of the largest security cloud in the world, which we call Zero Trust Exchange. But then why we are building it is because we see the trend. The trend is like this slide shows, like 77% of the workplace, they are building like a hybrid workforce, right? Well, embracing the hybrid work. And then just like Sean mentioned just now, cloud is a new data center. Everything is moving to the cloud. And we are seeing more than 90% of the enterprise, they are adopting the cloud by this year. And we are seeing the damage of having a security bypass to the legacy security portfolios is causing more and more damages to the to a lot of customers. So this is why we are looking for a new way to adopt and thrive, right? To find a new way to counter-strike these new situations. So what we are seeing is we are protecting more than 30 million. Actually, the latest up-to-date number is 40 million users every single day through our Zero Trust Exchange, the cloud that we are building. And we are giving like more than 85% of the protections from the ransomwares and legacy network securities. So there's a big uplift. And we are part of the modernizing infrastructure journey for a lot of customers by reducing 90% of the legacy security stacks in their environment. And we are seeing that more than 40% of the user experience increase because of us. So that is why we are here and how we can help. Next slide, please. Yep, so this slide is really talking about where we are positioning. So as you can see from this diagram, we are sitting in the middle. We are so-called the good man in the middle, right? Man in the middle is always a bad term, but actually we are sitting in the middle, just one hop away from a destination, and to protect all your traffic, be the traffic, your internal traffic, your internal applications, or the destination is your SaaS application or the public website. And from Zscaler, we are having 3 offerings. One is Zscaler for user, so we are protecting the user traffic when it goes to your internal application or to the external application. And we are also having the Zscaler for workload and Zscaler for OT and IoT, because we realize that in this modern world, user traffic in the enterprise environment is only like one part of it, maybe less than 50% of it. Then the rest of the traffic is more the workload communication. The servers, they are trying to communicate to another cloud. The server is trying to communicate to your data center. And those are the workload traffic that we want to protect and we can protect as well. And for the OT and LT traffic, those are the traffic that tend to be forgotten and all for good. But we realize more and more is that the OT traffic and LT traffic, if they are not properly protected, we can see a lot more, even bigger damage in terms of the data leakage, in terms of the production line stop and everything. So that is why Zscaler, we are having a holistic approach by leveraging on Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange to protect all 3 pillars of the traffic. Yeah, so how Zscaler can do it? Basically, we are sitting in the middle, just like I said, we are the good man in the middle. So first of all, we're going to stop all the transactions and pass through our proxy architecture. So we will see, hey, who are you based on the identity, based on the device posture. And this is also where we are collaborating with some of the leading EDR vendors like Crowdstrike. So we are looking at, hey, what is the device posture? Do you have an EDR? Do you have a Crowdstrike installed? And also we can consume the zero trust assessment, the ZTA score that is provided by Crowdstrike to have a more holistic, more holistic device posture assessment. And then based on that, we also will look at, hey, where are you going? Are you going to your private applications? Are you going to your SaaS applications? Or are you going to a public website? And what are the risks? So is there any risk containing within your packet that is going out to the internet? Are you carrying any of the bad stuff or even sensitive applications or sensitive data that you are going out to your environment? See, if everything is compliant, then go ahead. We will establish another connectivity on behalf of the user or on behalf of the OT and LT traffic or the workload traffic to the destination. So we are a full proxy architecture sitting in the middle to block all the transactions. Next slide, please. So with this architecture sitting in the middle, actually from user perspective or from the customer perspective, they can gain a lot of benefit. So there are 3 main benefits they can gain. One of it is they can reduce dramatically the business risk. They can reduce the attack surface, because we are sitting in the middle to protect your internal applications. And actually, we are protecting by hiding your internal application in the dark. So no more VPN gateways, no more tend to be internal consumed traffic, internal consumed application exposed to the internet. No more that, right? We are reducing and eliminating this kind of attack surface. And also because the zero trust concept is always verify first, then establish a connectivity. So from there, we are bringing the user or the source exactly to the destination, but not to the network. So we are eliminating the lateral threat movement. And we're also blocking the threat by in the encrypted traffic, because we are sitting in the middle to do the SSL decryption at a large amount of scale. So we have a huge amount of scalability over there. So the second benefit will be the cost and complexity. So this is also where you know, all the compliance come inside of it, right? So you want to get rid of you know, the compliance hassles, but because the customer, a lot of the legacy customers, they have a legacy security stack and network stack from different vendors and from different boxes. The patching is a concern. The operation hassle is also quite a concern. But if you moved all your security stack to zero trust exchange sitting on the cloud, then the complexity will be drastically reduced, and then the compliance level will be enhanced as well. Then the third part will be the workforce experience. So we are caring very much on how the user experience is like, right? Are they able to access the Office 365 whenever they are, right? So we're not backhauling every traffic back to your data center, but rather just send the traffic to Zero Trust Exchange, and we are just one hop away to your final destination. So from that perspective, the traffic flow will be much more streamlined, and the user experience will drastically increase. Next slide, please. Yeah, so from compliance specifically, we as well the largest security cloud in the world. Naturally, we are complying with a lot of international standard, right? So this is just one of the few examples, and we can also help the customer to manage some of the compliance, some compliance process that they are facing. For example, PCI DSS, for example, HIPAA. So even though we are not really, can guarantee that you can pass the HIPAA, you can pass PCI DSS, but we will be there to drive through to help you to drive the process, maybe quarantine or reduce the compliance framework, or reduce the compliance the compliance scope, because we are there, we are just sitting on the cloud by passing through the traffic and sending the traffic on behalf of you guys. Next slide, please. So with Zscaler, we also realized we cannot do everything alone. Just like we are collaborating with Crowdstrike, we are collaborating with a lot of best of the breed product in the market. So with all of these API interoperabilities and with all the API connections, we believe that we can help the customers to embark this security journey in a much more holistic approach. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this I think is the final slide of us. So basically, we are the leader in securing the digital transformations. So we are the #1 in SSE for many years already, and we have billions, hundreds of billions transactions every single day. This is much more than even the Google transactions. And we are helping a lot of customers in many industries. So we don't really have an industry specific preference, because every industry nowadays needs security protection. Just like the very first slide, the very first presentation shows, right? Even SMBs nowadays needs the security, because security is prevalent, is everywhere, right? So we are here to help not only the top of the industries, but also in every aspect in every industry. Next one. Yep. So in terms of Zscaler, because we are the leader, we can also drive a lot of ROI and the economical benefits. So in average, our customer, when they are on board with Zscaler, they can have more than 100% of the ROI and more than $4 million of benefit every single year. So with that, it's very clear that onboarding with some cloud solutions like Zscaler, you can benefit a lot by simplifying your infrastructures, and also by increase a lot of productivity from your workforce. Next one. Yeah. So this is a wrap up. So experience the world secure with Zscaler. This is our slogan. So just want to get away with all of these 3 benefits: reduce the business risk, reduce the cost and complexity, and also modernize and increase the workforce experience. Yeah. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, so much. So our last segment is an exciting one that showcases the power of collaboration. Together with Privasec, Crowdstrike, and Zscaler, we have formed an alliance that leverages their expertise, our expertise, to create customized cybersecurity strategies. So through experts' observations and findings, we'll gain valuable insights into how these leaders work together seamlessly. So Heng, when we talk about the power of three and a holistic approach that we have mentioned more than several times in this session, can you elaborate more on what do we actually mean by that? So how does Privasec, Crowdstrike, and Zscaler actually really achieve this with combined efforts? Hand over to you.
Thank you, Ariel. Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned this briefly at the start. The new reality of hybrid work and cloud resources has forced enterprises to rethink their security postures. And for some enterprises, this transformation happened over a very short period of time, subjectively speaking. So this remote workforces, they need access to their cloud-based resources, of course, but this also has extended the attack surface and more opportunities for threat actors. And as we all know, right, these attacks are just getting more and more sophisticated over time. So we need some tools and to protect these cloud applications and assets from cyber threats like that. Now, for Zscaler and Crowdstrike, the way they work together is that it provides end-to-end visibility and zero trust security from endpoint to the network. So this is where the value is. So for that part of your security architecture, at least it will be covered. Next slide, please. Yes, so sorry, I covered this verbally earlier, some of these points, but these 4 points are the highlights of what the findings, some of the findings from the risks and threats that we see trending today. Next slide, please. Yes, so how they help is basically, like I said, providing end-to-end visibility and zero trust from endpoint to network. Now, we all know that the weakest link, and all of us have heard this so many times, you're probably tired of hearing about it. The weakest link is in the individual. And today, that is your endpoint. Because of how we're using our devices, sometimes it'll go straight from your endpoint, your authentication system, then straight to the cloud resources that people are accessing. So we see this as a core issue and something that needs to be solved. So this integrated solution delivers users secure conditional access to the applications based off their identity, location, and posture of device. So it's not as simple as simple 2FA or simple password authentication anymore. This will help you ensure zero threats are identified, analyzed, and remediated quickly because you have visibility both on the cloud and as well as the endpoint. So the value you get out of this is you get a fast, secure, seamless direct access to the business resources you need. You also help your assets stay invisible to threat actors. Threats can be discovered faster, and you can share telemetry correlation for detection, remediation, of course, recovery. In addition, something that most organizations would be weaker at is threat intelligence. Now, with tools like that and visibility like that as a whole, threat intelligence sharing and device score sharing enables you to provide finer grained access control to your device and your workload to secure these areas without impeding user productivity. So this is one step beyond the simple single sign-on or simple authentication measures that some of us might have today. And we believe this is one of the potential solutions that will help us stay ahead of the threats. And thanks, Ariel. I think we can move on to the next slide and the Q&A section, right?
I think the next slide was reviewed. Okay. Thank you for sharing with us such an insightful session. I did quite absorb a few things myself as well. So the current time is about 10:44. Moving on to the Q&A section, I see that there aren't much movement in the chat box, but it's okay because a few of us have actually spoke to some of our attendees prior to this session. Actually get one or two questions. Maybe I'll just throw it out to the speakers. So first of all, maybe anyone can feel free to answer this. Yeah, for remote workforce, how does organizations maintain visibility and security for our users and their activities? I believe Chris, do you want to help us with this question?
Yeah, sure. So as remote force is becoming one of the major, if not a bigger chunk of the whole workforce, right? Even nowadays, even the youngsters, the new generations, they will look at the companies. If the companies allow them to work hybridly, then they will join the company. Otherwise, maybe it's not kind of an old school company and they will just walk away with this opportunity. So with that being said, the remote workforce, how do we protect it, is one of the top priorities for a lot of enterprises. So for that, traditionally, how do we enable the workforce? By giving them the VPN. But then VPN, as we all the security practitioners here, we all know that VPN is vulnerable, and VPN will also reduce the productivity because you need to turn on the VPN for internal access, but then you need to turn off the VPN maybe to access the external stuff, right? And when you turn off the VPN, basically you're gonna have no protection anymore. So with that kind of situation, that is where the Zscaler and Zero Trust will come in, right? Together with maybe Crowdstrike as well. So we can come in together and then protect the user whenever they are, because the Zero Trust concept is we need to have the identity. As long as the identity is there, just bring the traffic to the cloud and then let Zscaler to process it. And then one hop away, you will go to the destination. No matter the destination is internal traffic or external traffic. So with that kind of streamlined process and with all the inspection capabilities that we have, the DLP capabilities that we have, definitely we can have a much more holistic protection no matter where the user is.
I see. Anyone wants to add on to that or? Okay, all right, no worries. We are still receiving questions. So if you have any questions, just do drop into the chat box. But next off, I have one more. So how critical or important it is for endpoint and network solutions to integrate into Zero Trust strategy? Anyone on the floor can help with that?
I can take this question. Hi, my name is Sean. So when we talk about Zero Trust strategy, right, we are talking about not trusting anybody, not trusting any request. But on another side, right, if you're not going to have trust on all the requests, right, probably the end user experience may not be what they are looking at, may not be seamless, as I were to say. So today, a lot of customers, they are using the best of breed silo solutions, probably best of breed in terms of network, best of breed in terms of the gateway, and so on and so forth. But with the best of breed security solutions, this is where in the recent probably years, 1 or 2 years, right, we're talking about XDR. And how are we going to have the XDR? A lot of vendors will talk about having a single brand to rip off all the existing installations, existing investment to have a single brand to form this XDR. But when we're talking about the importance of endpoint and network solutions, right, to integrate into the Zero Trust strategy, this is extremely important because, right, in order to have a better user experience, seamless experience, right, we are talking about having endpoint security solutions like Crowdstrike or even network solutions like, example, Zscaler, right, to come in to work together, okay, to form this XDR. Okay, for example, existing customers is using CrowdStrike. They can adopt Zscaler to come in to form this XDR and to be able to integrate into this Zero Trust strategy. This is extremely important because today, right, we are coming in to help customers to save costs, not to revamp the whole network. And with the existing investments that you have, right, then this is where solutions like CrowdStrike, Zscalers is able to come in to form this XDR and integrate into your Zero Trust strategy.
Yeah, maybe I can jump in as well. So as Sean just mentioned, right, customers, they are looking at best of the breed product, but this is kind of like a balance that every customer needs to manage. Because if you look at a lot of customers, I've been talking to many customers and asked them, hey, how many security products or network products you have in your environment? Most likely 40, 50, right? That's a lot. That's a lot to manage. And you gotta have a big team, very big team with different expertise to manage that. And there's a lot of frictions incurred from there, right? So that's where the Zero Trust and also the whole concept can come in, because the balance will be, you need the best of the breed product, but also you need the collaboration, you need the API integration, you need a tight integration to form a ecosystem, right? To play together and consolidate the product that you have, the solution that you have in your environment, so that you may only need to manage maybe 4, 5, or 6 product in your environment, and then in your endpoint there might be only 3 maximum 4 endpoint solutions that you need to install, so that you have a clearer infrastructure and you have a much more streamlined, your architecture to manage.
I see, I see. All right, okay. Just maybe one more, if you don't mind. So does the organization currently take user device security posture into account and network access control policies?
Okay, I can take part of it, right? In terms of Crowdstrike, the solutions that we install onto the endpoint, we will be able to capture the user device security posture. Okay, that in layman terms, right, we will be able to generate a score, as what Chris earlier on has mentioned, right? A score where we can have integrations. Okay, example like Zscaler, we'll pass these scores to Zscaler, and from there, right, Zscaler can, based on this device score, these users' device scores, to decide whether should I allow this particular request into some probably certain network sensitive accessing to certain sensitive information.
Yeah, and from Zscaler side, right? Just like Sean mentioned, the GTA score. This is a very important stuff, and the best part of it is dynamic, right? So nowadays in zero trust world, we need to form a new mindset, which is the policy shouldn't be static. You should be dynamically evaluating it based on customers' posture, right? Based on customers' posture, they change. Maybe today this morning they just visited a C2 website, or they just downloaded malware. Then the score will drop, and then the policy will just adjust accordingly. So this is also echo back to what we previously mentioned, right? You always need to assume the breach. Assume the breach has already happened, right? And then you cannot let go any single trace, but then formalize a dynamic scoring, dynamic policy, so that we can form the policy and then regulate the user experience and user action accordingly.
Maybe I can jump in a bit. As a technology consumer within our organization, our own endpoints are secured in this manner, especially for organizations that spread across multiple territories. It's particularly important because if we just base off simple things like IP addresses and so on, it won't be that easy for us to detect if something has gone wrong. For some of our larger, more mature clients, we have also observed this implemented, and some of them implemented extensively. So for example, if you're trying to connect to for our client, I mean, if you're trying to connect into their internal network, when you launch the VPN, a scan will be run on your current security posture in case something has changed that wasn't detected. And your system would need to pass that scan before you're allowed through the VPN into the internal network. So this is one example of what we have seen. Of course, the degree of implementation varies, but it is what is happening these days, and most organizations are moving in that direction. Like I said, to support the remote workforce, and perhaps not even within the same territory.
I see. Okay. Maybe just because we have like a few more minutes before we end the session, is there anything else that you guys might want to do a conclusion about? Maybe share a few statements of what you have in mind for the whole session. Maybe just 1 or 2 statements would do to wrap it up.
Yeah, maybe I will just add a bit. So the zero trust is actually a journey, right? We always tell customers this is the journey that you need to embark with. So together with Privasec and all these partners, I think the main purpose is not to say, hey, tomorrow you go ahead to implement zero trust and then you are all protected. No, it's not that, right? You got to make sure that you have a different journey that you embark on based on your environment, based on your readiness, and based on again, a budget as well, right? So a lot of things that needs to be there in order to start a journey. But the most important thing is you gotta have this mindset. The mindset is always assume breach, and you need a dynamic policy evaluation, and you need the best of breed product to work together so that the zero trust can achieve in one extent or another, right? So the journey needs to be started. So that's my thought.
Okay, for mine, right, as what just to add on to Chris, right? Yes, it is. This is a journey, and together, right, with Privasec, Zscaler, and Crowdstrike, we will be able to come in to help you. Together with our existing investment that you have already have, right? Then this is where by leveraging on these three companies, we will be able to come in to help you to smoothen and to have a smoother journey in terms of this zero trust strategy.
Well, to end off, I will just say anyone in the security industry, we all face the same struggles between the lack of resources. And in security, if I'm being dramatic, I would say there's an actual fog of war where there's simply not enough information on where the threats are. There's a lot of people talking about threats here and there. Numbers are not always they're not always as much statistics to support this as we would like. Limited information across the board, although this is changing at the industry and well, I guess national level. Like today, one of the main sources of information I use personally is the IBM cost of breach study. It's the same study I was looking at 10 years ago, updated on a year-to-year basis. Sources of information insufficient. If we look at the trends of compliance standards and where some of these, where the research is going, it's pointing very squarely into endpoints and into the cloud integration to traditional infrastructure security. And if you observe your own technology environment, you'll find that this is where the change has been in terms of how people use their tech in an organization, and where the environment is moving towards. So I would say it's probably not being too dramatic by saying that the cloud and the endpoint is probably where the key focus areas should be. At least if you're starting from zero, you should consider these areas first. And well, I'll end off with this.
Right. So okay, as we approach the end of the session, it's time to thank everyone for joining us today. So let me just do my own conclusion as well. The universe where strategy, innovation, and compliance align is the foundation for a secure and resilient organization. So we hope that the knowledge and insights that you've gained today in this webinar will empower you to take more proactive steps towards fostering your organization's cybersecurity posture. But before we part ways, if it's okay, let's all turn on your cameras. Let's capture this moment. Yeah, just feel free to turn on your cameras. Yeah, I see really nice faces. Awesome. Okay. So it's kind of the new era nowadays. We don't see cheese. We see 1, 2, 3 screenshot. So give me your biggest smile and let's hold it there in 3, 2, 1. Cheese screenshot. Okay. Thank you everyone for your time. You guys look very great. Okay, thank you so much for your time. It's great. It's lovely having all of you here. Do reach out to us if you have any further clarifications that we can help. It has been an informative and inspiring session. Thank you. A big thank you to speakers and attendees. So until next time, do stay secure and keep innovating. Have an awesome rest of the week ahead and see you all soon. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.